Dubai, 2007. The silence of an exclusive shopping center is shattered by the squeal of tires against marble as two Audi S8 cars burst through its glass doors, crashing into a jeweler's shop. Everything is meticulously planned. One car moves in reverse to avoid triggering the airbag and, without wasting time, swiftly vanishes into the night. It screeches to a brief halt, during which a man in a black suit and mask emerges. The car accelerates again, joined by another figure in black who smashes the display windows. While the stunned shoppers refrain from making a sound, fearing for their lives, the men methodically and calmly collect valuables worth $4 million. Though the surveillance footage resembles a Hollywood movie, this is just another regular workday for the Pink Panthers, the most successful diamond thieves in history. Their exploits have become legendary, and no city worldwide, from London to Tokyo, Geneva, Paris, Dubai, or Singapore, can consider itself entirely secure. The Pink Panthers are known for their unique style, sometimes dressing as golfers for one job and as tourists in Hawaiian shirts for the next. They don't hesitate to use fake identities and successfully escape on cars, scooters, bicycles, and even yachts. The Pink Panthers had been operating for several years when the heist at Graff in London drew international attention to them and earned them their nickname. In May 2003, the flagship boutique of the renowned jewelry house, Graff in London, was attended by a rather eccentrically dressed client named Neboiza Denik. Although his suit and umbrella weren't particularly extravagant, his pompadour wig stood out. Denik examined a 12-carat diamond ring worth $450,000, but it wasn't what he was looking for. He remarked that it was too glamorous and inquired about smaller rings in the store. Before being offered a more modest piece of jewelry, Denik swiftly pulled out a chromed .357 Magnum and ordered everyone to lie on the floor. Simultaneously, his accomplice, Predrag Vujocevic, stormed into the boutique, smashed the display cases with a hammer, and seized 47 diamond-studded treasures valued at $32 million. After acquiring the jewels, the men fled the scene, but Simon Stearman, the store's security guard, chased them and managed to apprehend Denik. Within days, Scotland Yard identified another accomplice, Milan Jovetic, who helped the robbers travel under false identities. Detectives obtained a warrant to search the apartment where Milan lived with his girlfriend, Anna Stankovic. During the search, they found two counterfeit Italian passports without names or photographs, alongside an intriguing jar of face cream. Inside the jar, the criminals had concealed a ring with a blue diamond worth $750,000. Journalists hastened to label the robbers as the Pink Panthers because the same hiding place for the diamond had been used in the 1975 comedy Return of the Pink Panther. Although the blue diamond was recovered, jewels worth over $30 million were still considered missing, along with Vujocevic. Scotland Yard detective Steve Alexander traced calls to an apartment in Paris, possibly Vujocevic's residence. However, he remained elusive and was only caught in 2005 while attempting to enter France from Italy by car. The London incident wasn't the only time Vujocevic was suspected of robbing a jewelry store. It wasn't even the sole Graff salon targeted by the Panthers. In fact, they had no qualms about raiding the same store twice. In 2009, they stole 43 pieces valued at $56 million from the same Graff store in London that had been their target in 2003, earning them their moniker. By 2019, they had looted watches, rings, bracelets, and necklaces worth approximately $1 billion from 35 countries worldwide. This is just a glimpse of their many exploits. In 2001, the group robbed a jewelry store in the coastal town of Biarritz, France. The Panthers meticulously prepared for the job. To ensure no witnesses accidentally sat in the first row during the robbery, one of the criminals painted the bench opposite the store before the heist. Then, in 2004, they pulled off Japan's largest robbery at Tokyo's Le Supra Diamant Couture de Maki boutique, seizing numerous precious items, including the Comtesse de Vendôme necklace with a 125-carat diamond. In 2005, 7 individuals dressed as airport staff broke through the reinforced security of Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, where they hijacked an armored van containing uncut diamonds worth $118 million intended for transport by plane to Antwerp's Diamond District. Over the years, the Panthers became increasingly fearless, for instance. when they robbed a jewelry store in France. In 2005, dressed in wigs and Hawaiian shirts, the Pink Panthers seamlessly blended in with vacationers in Saint-Tropez, France. Wearing masks, they stormed a jewelry store, snatching several pieces before calmly fleeing. For the locals, it was the robbery of the century. The Panthers were bold enough to steal jewels worth $3 million. But what was truly audacious was how they made their getaway. All it took was a dash to a high-speed yacht waiting at the edge of the water, and they were gone as if they never existed. While the police navigated through the traffic jams on busy roads, the criminals calmly disappeared. Then, in 2007, they carried out their boldest heist to date, invading a Dubai shopping center. 2 hidden cameras at the exclusive Wafi Mall captured the moment 2 Audi S8 cars smashed through its glass doors. The Panthers meticulously timed the assault for 9 p.m. rush hour, knowing that police moving in the opposite direction on the highway would be stuck in traffic as they fled. The Panthers drove the cars to an empty area between 2 mansions, just minutes from the royal palace, and set them ablaze. They then calmly escaped in a 3rd car, taking their multi-million-dollar haul. While 2 gang members were apprehended, the mastermind of the heist, Milan Lepoja, managed to escape. The Dubai operation not only stunned with the value of the stolen jewels and the Panthers' swift actions, but also showcased their detailed planning. The group preferred Audi cars. Executing a heist in an unfamiliar vehicle was deemed too risky. However, Audis were not as common in the Emirates in 2007, so one of the cars had to be stolen from nearby Abu Dhabi a few hours before the robbery. Although jewels remained the primary target, they weren't the only items of luxury the Pink Panthers hunted. By 2008, their ambitions soared. In Zurich, they orchestrated Europe's largest art theft, stealing Monet, Van Gogh, Cézanne, and Degas, works worth over $145 million. Until recently, the Panthers were attributed to the 2016 robbery in Paris, where thieves took jewelry belonging to Kim Kardashian, valued at around $11 million, including her 20-carat diamond engagement ring gifted by Kanye West. The robbers, dressed as police officers, entered Kardashian's luxurious central Paris apartment under the cover of night, convinced the guard to lead them to the world-famous celebrity, bound her in the bathroom, and left with her valuables, without alerting any real police officers. Why, despite the lack of substantial evidence, was this case immediately attributed to the Panthers? Simply because, despite the long list of their crimes, not much is known about the group. Who are their leaders? Where do they take the stolen valuables? How are they organized? How many people are involved in the group? There are no precise answers to these questions. Even their name, the Pink Panthers, is a nickname given to them by the media. When a robbery occurs that matches the Panthers' modus operandi, it gets added to their list of crimes. As for their modus operandi, it seems the group employs the same strategy they've perfected multiple times. An elegantly dressed man enters the store, discreetly monitoring the door. Despite the fact that the Pink Panthers use weapons, they claim never to harm people but rather seek to gain control of the situation. Then, the rest of the group bursts into the store and starts smashing the display cases. They have 1 minute, maximum 2, to execute their plan. Usually, they manage within a minute, and one of the guys is there solely to keep track of the time. There's an apparent irony. To keep track of time for the robbers, some of the finest wristwatch models in the world are readily available. The heist itself happens quickly, but the planning takes much longer, several weeks or even months. Attractive women, significant members of the group, handle scoping out future targets. A woman enters a store posing as a potential buyer, studying the jewelry and the layout of the store. Once she leaves, she meets with an artist who meticulously sketches the store's layout down to the smallest detail. If the woman makes a mistake, it spells doom for her partners. The preparation can be costly. She needs to be adorned in elegant jewelry and expensive clothing. It's even better if she has a car with a personal driver. After the robbery, the diamonds are handed off to a predetermined intermediary who will transport them across borders to the buyer. They already know who will acquire them and in what quantity. The certification process, designed to curb illegal diamond trading, has ironically made the Panthers' work easier. Now they forge certificates of origin and create supposedly new diamonds. The rarest and most valuable diamonds re-enter the market, while the smaller stones become currency in the black market. Diamonds hold significant value. They're easy to transport, and they sell easily. All transactions above a certain amount are tracked by financial institutions, but who controls the diamonds? No one. After the Pink Panthers raided a jewelry store in Monaco, considered a stronghold in Europe, police stations worldwide decided to collaborate. In 2007, Interpol established a special task force specifically targeting the Pink Panthers. For the first time, detectives worldwide were able to share their findings. The spectacular heist in Dubai was one of their successes. The crime seemed almost perfect, except for one mistake. When the Panthers set fire to the cars, they forgot to open the windows. Due to the lack of oxygen, the fire couldn't incinerate the car interior, and forensic experts managed to find DNA. Using this DNA evidence, Interpol identified Duško Poznan from Bosnia and Herzegovina and Milan Ljepoja from Montenegro. Both were wanted for heists in Switzerland and Liechtenstein. In 2008, Duško was captured after a car accident in Monaco, while Milan was apprehended after a chance encounter with Detective Jan Glass in a French hotel. Both were sent to prison in Liechtenstein. Despite Interpol's success in apprehending many Pink Panthers, law enforcement authorities have failed to extract any information about other members of the group, their leaders, or their internal organization. Investigators believe that the Pink Panthers aren't a single organization, but rather several disparate groups originating from Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Montenegro. Many Panthers might not know each other or even be familiar with their leader. However, despite their lack of interconnectedness, the Panthers demonstrate a high level of camaraderie, frequently facilitating each other's prison breaks. In 2003, a Serbian named Dragan Mikic, the individual who painted the bench near the jewelry salon, was arrested the day after the boutique heist in Courchevel, France. While incarcerated, local prosecutor Gilbert Lafayette noticed Mikic's fearlessness, stating, "These guys aren't worried about being sent to prison. They know they'll escape." Indeed, that same year, Mikic attempted an escape by breaking free from guards near the courthouse. Although captured, Mikic was transferred to a more secure French prison in Villefranche-sur-Saône. However, an accomplice managed to throw wire cutters and a ladder over the prison wall for Mikic to escape, while other Panthers distracted guards by firing AK rifles to cover his getaway. Authorities failed to trace Mikic again. In July 2013, another Pink Panther member, Milan Poparic, was serving a 6-year sentence in Switzerland. During the inmates' recreation time in the prison yard, a van stormed the gates amidst gunfire from AK-47s. Using a ladder thrown over the prison wall by fellow Panthers, Milan and another inmate escaped. The fugitives set fire to the van and fled in 2 cars, disappearing for good. Milan was the 3rd Pink Panther member to escape from a Swiss prison within 3 months. 2 others escaped from the Bois-Mermet prison near Lausanne, when an accomplice tossed a bag containing all the necessary escape equipment over the wall. Due to more experienced robbers retiring to a peaceful life, the police are facing the next generation of criminals as well as imitators. Detective Jan Glassy of the Swiss Police Intelligence describes a relatively recent robbery in Geneva. The criminals burst in with greater aggression, without bags, dropping items, panicking, and even leaving their weapons on the table. Glassy explains that in such cases, the likelihood of incidents increases, greatly troubling the police. The Pink Panthers have indeed engaged in a shootout. A police officer was wounded during a chase in Greece in 2012. 2 men and a woman were conducting reconnaissance at a jewelry store they intended to rob, but the wigs they wore raised suspicion among patrolling officers who stopped them for inspection. The Panthers fled, injuring an officer, but all 3 were later apprehended. With Interpol hot on their trail, the safe havens for the Pink Panthers are dwindling. Additionally, technology plays a significant role in apprehending criminals. The biggest challenge for them has become blockchain, which allows tracing each diamond back to the mine, even after cleaning, cutting, and polishing. Artificial intelligence and biometric data also complicate, if not make it impossible, for the Panthers to carry out their audacious plans. Although they have succeeded in their adventures in the past, the precious stone industry is adopting increasingly sophisticated security measures, and the Panthers may soon be surprised to find that their methods and themselves are simply outdated. However, if this does happen, it won't be in the near future. In 2018 alone, the Pink Panthers stole jewelry worth $2 million from the Christie's exhibition in Venice. treasures of the Swedish monarchy from a cathedral, and an invaluable tiara from the British Museum. And in 2019, the Panthers took relics from the 18th century Augustus, the strong collection in Dresden's legendary Green Vault, worth over $1 billion, which weren't even insured because the museum couldn't afford such an exorbitant policy. Like all of the Panthers' ventures, the Dresden heist was remarkably simple. Early in the morning, they set fire to an electrical distribution panel near the museum. This disabled the alarm system and street lighting, immediately reducing the number of potential witnesses. The security cameras were still functioning, but considering the nearly wide-open doors, they were rendered useless. The Panthers entered the premises without encountering a single guard. Within a couple of minutes, they took everything they wanted and disappeared in an awaiting Audi A6. Despite their impressive portfolio and hundreds of arrests, many questions about the Pink Panthers remain unanswered. Estimates of how many individuals could belong to the group vary from dozens to hundreds, not including associates scattered across Europe who assist the Panthers in booking hotel rooms and renting vehicles. Who leads the group and issues orders remains a mystery, as well as whether something akin to a Pink Panthers headquarters exists. However, judging from their recent escapades, one thing can be said for sure: they aren't retiring anytime soon. So if you have family heirlooms that you cherish, it's wise to ensure they are hidden in a secure place, because amid the many mysteries surrounding these adept criminals, one stands out. Where will the Pink Panthers strike next?